All right, guys, we're going to do challenge block 1 now. So you can see here in the top right corner is the block that has all of the dimensions labeled for you. All right, and then this is the paper where we're going to draw the orthographic drawing. Now the directions here say we're going to draw all 3 views. And this is the part that often confuses people. We're going to use the scale 1 square equals 1/2 inch. So in other words, 2 squares would equal a full inch. So like here where you see it's 6 inches across, okay, we're going to always double this number, 12 squares. So we're going to draw these much bigger than what we've been drawing up to this point. So here where it says it's 3 inches across this way, we double that to make it 6 squares. So it's going to make these quite a bit bigger. And we're going to need to make sure that we leave at least a 1-inch space between the different views. We don't want them to touch each other. And then it says use the start point indicated, so we're going to start here at the black cross. All right, so this is the shape we're going to draw. This isn't exactly made to scale, but just to give you an idea as to what this shape looks like, basically like a step. So our top view is going to look like this. Front view, notice the front view and the top view, pretty much the same thing. And then here's our right view. Kind of an L shape. All right. So we are going to, I'm going to show you how to do the front view here, and then you're going to do the top and the right over here. Remember, top view always goes up here in the top left. Right view always goes down here in the bottom right. The isometric we haven't learned about yet, so we're going to leave the isometric section blank. So we'll start right here. Okay, as I've pointed out earlier, the block is 6 inches across. And we're going to double all of these measurements so that we get a nice big drawing. So we're going to make that 12 squares across. Now remember, when it's isometric like this, right, we turn it counterclockwise to get the top and the front view. And we go clockwise to get to the right view. So it's going to go from here to here for top and like that for front. So the 6 inches is going across this way. So I'm going to make a line that's 12 squares. Starting here at the cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. And so I'm doing the front view here. I just drew this line right here. Okay, so now I'm going to put in this line. And then on the front view, this is also part of the front view. You can see it's labeled even for you front and front. So I need this and I need this. Together, that's 2 inches, which is going to be 4 squares. So I'm going to draw a line here. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. And a line over here that's 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Because when I look at this, I can tell that this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle. So the left and the right are going to be the same. The top and the bottom are going to be the same. So I'm going to put another 12 square line in there for the top. All the way across like that. Now, I can tell by looking at this block that this section and this section are not flush. If I look back at my example block, that's behind that. So I need a solid line there to separate them. And I can see that this and this have to be the same length, because if they're 2 inches, then you divide it by 2, that makes each one of them 1 inch. And this says even right here that it's 1 inch. All right, so I'm going to put this right on the middle here, and draw a line that goes all the way across. And then I'm going to shade it in just a little bit so it's easier to see. Like that. All right. So there's my front view. I don't need to label it because it's just always in the same spot. Front view always goes in the bottom left corner. Top always goes up here, and right always goes over here. So one thing I want to remind you of when you are making this multi-view drawing is the left side of my front view and the left side of my top view are going to line up perfectly. The right side of my front view and the right side of my top view are going to line up perfectly. The top of my front and the top of the right and the bottom of the front and the bottom of the right are going to line up perfectly. And then one thing you'll notice, remember the shape is going to look something like this. This line here that separates the fact, that shows the fact that these are uneven with each other, will line up with that right there. So the top will be in a line, the bottom will be a line, and that will be in line with that shape when you make this little L shape like that. So anytime you have a horizontal line over here, you'll have a horizontal line over here. Anytime you have a vertical line here, if I had one in the middle, I would have a vertical line up here. They all line up with each other. Not just the sides, not just the top and bottom. Any horizontal line lines up with a horizontal line over here, and any vertical line lines up with a vertical line up here. Now the directions did say leave a 1-inch space between the views. I don't care if it's exactly 1 inch. I mean, I would probably move up just a little bit higher from my front to my top view. Give it a little bit more space than just 2 squares. I think it should be spaced out a little bit better than that. And then over here, make sure it's spaced out a little bit. The key is when you're doing a multi-view drawing, you don't want your drawing to go into this very outside edge of squares. That's like a frame around your drawing. So we don't draw on the very outside row of squares. Notice the big black plus sign here to start, left some empty space there. So when I go to draw my right view, don't start all the way over here on the edge. It should be at least 1 row in from the edge. Same with when you go to do the top, don't start at the very top. It should be at least 1 row down. You can do more than one. You could start, down here if you want, wherever, as long as you have at least 1 empty here and at least 1 empty here, but you have plenty of space here, so I would skip up 4 or 5 right there. And same with over here. You could skip 2 or 3. You can't do 4 or 5 over here because you don't have quite as much space, but you don't want to be drawing over here in the very edge. So I might make my first line here and then kind of work over there like that so that I have plenty of space. All right, and that's how you do challenge block 1.